Hey you, yeah you, I'm talking to you. Do you want to learn how to make pictures move? No? Then why'd you click on this video, you piece of Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do once you open your animation software is if you're going to be making this video for YouTube, make sure your video is 1920 by 1080. If it's not going to fit right into the frame of the video and it's just going to look bad. So once you've created your project, make sure you zoom out. Pretty much this is where it begins.
This is where the fun begins.
Select your brush tool, click properties. I usually have my brush set to either a 7 to around 10, and then yeah, just start drawing your character. Okay, so now once you got your character, another cool thing to do is if, say, your character is a bit too big or too small, go over to the free transform tool, just highlight your character, resize them to however you want, just have them that size. So now you're like, that's just a still image, when do we get animating? Calm down, I'm gonna get to it. So now we just go to wherever we want the new keyframe to be. One important thing I should mention, there's a bunch of hotkeys and shortcuts to just create new frames, new keyframes, undo an action. I don't know them by heart. I have them all recorded on the hotkeys in my drawing tablet. I'll put them up on screen right now. So yeah, just create a new keyframe, preferably blank, and then select onion skin mode. And now you can see where your previous frame was, so you kind of get an idea of where you want your other keyframe to be. So what you're going to do in the second keyframe is basically draw where you want your character to end up. Okay, so now you got your two keyframes. You might just be like, well, that looks choppy, that's not animation, those are just two pictures. Shut your mouth. No, it's not, because we haven't added the in-betweens yet. So basically what in-between is, go over to somewhere on the second keyframe, and just kind of, so to create an in-between, just kind of take your second keyframe, drag it over, create a new keyframe in between those, clear the frames, make sure you have onion skin on. So basically what an in-between is if you ever see in Disney movies, like the old 2D ones, or any animated movie, if you pause right between when a character is moving, they look like stretched out and smeared. The reason that is that kind of just simulates speed and saves a lot of time of drawing every single little picture of that movement. So when you're doing an in-between, just simply draw in between those pictures and try to stretch out from point A to point B. So now once you got your in-between done, one important thing you should do is make sure it only lasts for about 2 or 1 frame, because it's not going to be shown for much. It's just tricking the viewer into thinking it's moving fast. So as you can see in my in-between, there's multiple arms because it's moving between the arms of the first keyframe and the second keyframe. And the head is kind of stretched out because it's going from the first keyframe to the second. This one is not as drastic, but it can be, and it sometimes the more drastic, the better it looks, and sometimes the worse it looks. So now, another thing you can add to make your animation look a lot better is anticipation and wait. About 1 or 2 frames before your character starts moving, kind of make him anticipate the movement he's about to do. So one easy way to do this, get the smart object, kind of raise him up, kind of make it look like he's taking a breath in, and and then he moves. And then for wait, a way to add that is kind of by doing the opposite. 2 frames right after he moves, kind of squash him down. So now it looks like that. There's kind of weight to when he stops. And it doesn't look like he's just super stiff. It looks like gravity's in motion and he looks kind of real. And that's just the basics. Once getting a little more complicated, one way to add another animation without interrupting these frames you've already created, go to new layer and just say I want to add like just a bunch of other pictures, like a background maybe. You can have that constantly be there while these frames constantly move. And here's a time saver if you want it. Here's a tween. So basically what a tween is, draw something on a frame, stretch that frame out to where however long you want it to take for that tween to move somewhere. So I want it to take 3 seconds to get from point A to point B. So then once that frame is highlighted, go to create classic tween. Then put a keyframe at the end, take your selection tool, move it to wherever you want. It could be anywhere. And then now it moves from point A to point B, which just saves a lot of time. So yeah, that's the basics of animation. If you want to get more technical, I'll maybe make a second tutorial. And yeah. Animation is cool, dude.